What's going on, guys? We're the Cash Critic, and guys, we have something super unexpected. As you can see from my screen, Five Nights at Freddy's, the film, is blowing expectations out of the water from the Hollywood Reporter. So shout out to them for this, and shout out to obviously Pamela McClintock for this article itself. So the link to this actual article is down below as well. But guys, we did not see this coming. We knew there was a hype train behind Five Nights at Freddy's with their video game installations, right? Personally, I'm a little bit in the dark here as well, since I've never truly played the games. However, I do know kids across the world play this game, love this game. My nephew himself has played the game and is absolutely fascinated with the fact that this film was coming out, which obviously, with it only being PG-13, is going to draw a lot of families to be able to go ahead and send their kids to the theaters and watch this movie. So let's jump into the article itself just to highlight some key aspects of it. But you can see from the screen the box office for this past weekend, right? It released on digital as well, which is absolutely shocking. So, Five Nights at Freddy's terrifies monstrous $78 million opening. So the Universal and Blumhouse pick set a slew of records and is the third biggest horror opening of all time domestically. Overseas, it earned 52.6 million for a global bow of 130.6 million. That is absolutely insane. And as you can see, literally just reiterating, the third biggest horror opening weekend of all time domestically. So that's absolutely fantastic, and absolutely fantastic. A huge win all around for the video game industry too, right? Because this movie would not be a thing without the video games that released prior to it, and without having that fan base carry on over to the cinematic universe too. So as you can see here, the latest horror offering from Universal and Blumhouse opened to a record-smashing $78 million despite debuting simultaneously on sister streaming service Peacock. So, right, I know I just mentioned that earlier, guys. This came out on Peacock this past Friday. For it to come out digitally, also in theaters, and break these records is absolutely mind-blowing. This isn't something that you typically would see in the film industry, especially when a movie does come out simultaneously on streaming platforms. You would think more people would want to stay at home, especially on a Friday night, watch it with the comfort of their family at their house, make their own food, right? Everything is at convenience with them. Everything is practically free rather than having to step outside, go to a movie theater, probably spend about 50 to 60, 70, maybe $100 if you do bring a whole family to the theater just to watch a movie, when you can spend literally almost nothing if you are subscribed to Peacock. So that's something to think about, and something to just go ahead and get your gears turning on how significant this film has impacted the horror series. Now, you can see here, it started off with a monstrous Friday haul of 39.5 million, including 10.3 million in Thursday previews, right? Because we all know that films come out pretty much the day before, even though they debut, technically speaking, they announce it for Fridays. You can go ahead and catch the evening premieres on Thursdays, at least in my area. So obviously, this literally blew away the expectations, scared up the third biggest horror opening of all time behind New Lines 2 It movies, right, with Pennywise, as well as the best showing ever for Halloween weekend. So that's going to be fantastic. It's also the biggest horror opening of 2023 to date, besting Scream, right? Scream, 44.4 million, and the second biggest opening of all time for a video game adaptation behind Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is 146.3 million, and obviously not adjusted for inflation. Now, just to put that into perspective, guys, this film itself is kind of like a horror video game itself, with a lot of pop-up scares too. Now, the fact that it's the second biggest video game opening of all time is great in many aspects. However, in my opinion, it could change, right? Because this is the opening weekend. We don't know necessarily if a lot of people are going to be watching it these coming days, right? So we don't know if they're going to be watching on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, or even into the following weekend. So I do expect a huge drastic drop in the amount of families going to this coming weekend. But this is, in general, a huge win all across the board for Blumhouse, for Lionsgate, for video game adaptations in general. And we've been seeing so much more of that too. Obviously, right? So many video games being adapted to live stream TV, such as Mortal Kombat, right? Mortal Kombat 2 is currently in production, but because of the actor strike, right, they're currently on a pause. We also had The Last of Us on HBO Max, now formerly known as Max, a killer video game, The Last of Us, into the actual shows, and they are killing industry. And just for Five Nights at Freddy's as well, doing these kind of numbers domestically nonetheless and globally too, man, that's crazy to think about, right? This is a huge win all around. And Bloomhouse obviously are having huge wins despite The Exorcist, right? Believer. But all around, Bloomhouse has been killing it so far lately, as of recent, with the exception of The Exorcist. But guys, that I just wanted to point that out because this is absolutely fantastic. I think this is absolutely mind blowing. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, if you've watched Five Nights at Freddy's. Let me know your thoughts on the movie, what you thought about it. I personally already watched it as well. I thought it was okay. Like I said, I'm a little bit at a disadvantage here, guys. So don't hate me for any of you guys that are avid video game players specific to this game that really follow the series. But coming from a movie perspective, I thought the film was great. I thought that they actually captivated a lot on the plot itself. They really told a story rather than just jumping right into the actual action itself and the horror of it itself. So I thought it was a great movie. Do I see a second one coming from this? Maybe. You never know, right? And I know there's about like 4 or 5 video games of these. It's a possibility, and especially with the success of this. But this is also just the first weekend. So we'll see next weekend to see exactly where it lands. Maybe it comes at a standstill because more and more people will most likely realize that, wow, if it's on Peacock, then why would I go ahead and spend money to watch it in theaters unless you are a really big fan and into the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's. But there you guys have it, guys. It's your boy, the Cash Critic. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button down below so you guys are up to date with the latest movie and show trailers and a little bit of sprinkling of video games as well. And maybe we'll be doing a plenty more of some Hollywood news nonetheless if you guys enjoy the content. Well, there you guys have it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Peace.